All right, let's see if I can get you some measurements here and also not make you sick from moving the camera around too much. So from floor to center pin is pretty much 36 inches right on the nose. The arms of these things are, well, it says 2 and 1/64. By 5 inches, roughly, so 2 by 5. The length of the top, I don't know if that's rotating. Sorry, I told you I'd probably make you sick. To where it meets the end here is about 35 inches. From the bottom here to the top is almost the exact same, 35 inches. Overall width, side to side, we're gonna have to go with a bigger tape measure. Okay, I'm measuring below where you see this reinforcement gusset here. That is 31, about 31 and a half total width of the frame. The reinforcing plate down here, you can see where it ends up in here. I don't know if I can get a good measurement of this. Let's see. So that whole thing is about a little over 29 and a quarter, roughly. And then there's an extra, and that's 3/4 inch stock there, and it's about the same. It's almost the exact same width as the frame rail, maybe a little bit wider. I don't know. I can get a great measurement on that. And then there's this extra reinforcement here. Tell you what, doing this one-handed is interesting. That's 15 from where the bracket arm is. So you got a little bit off the back, and then a very small amount off the front, and it comes just even with this hitch block here. These pieces here are 3 by that looks to be 3/8 plate. And then over here, so the bucket, this is the standard material bucket. It's 36 inches across. You can kind of see how the cylinder arrangement is set up. I can tell you that if you look at your information on the USB drive for the front end loader, these cylinders, they're whatever their total stroke is, you can't find them anymore. So you'll have to factor that into whatever you're doing. Some guys go with a single larger one. I've seen some homemade loaders where they just have a single cylinder here that goes down to a single mount, and it's a much larger cylinder. I think that if you look up Teramite, there's some of the Teramite information in there. I think that's what they used. These cylinders here, they're 19.5 inches long, and I forget what the stroke is. So that's the arm. The lift cylinders, the dump cylinders are they're about 10 inches. I think that's how you measure a cylinder. And then so here's the control, 2-spool control valve, and the way that is fastened. So you got kind of a support piece that's bent into an L, and then that whole thing is welded to this part of the bracket. The filter is not part of the original setup. I added that. I added this fitting here, this housing to spin on a filter. If I had to do it again, I don't know that I would, because this pushes the hoses out so far that it partially interferes with the brake pedals. I noticed, I don't know what size shoe you wear, but it does get in the way of my boots, so I really got to be conscious of it. If you didn't have this fitting all the way out here and it was screwed straight into here, you would have these hoses moved in. I mean, they would be moved in almost 6 inches, 5 inches at least. And then you would straighten out that path of where these hoses come. They'd come to here instead of being way out here where you see the brake pedal. I don't know that my hose routing is factory. That's just what I made work. Actually, I think when I got what I think factory routing is that so this is the input from the tank here, so fluid's flowing up into the pump here and then coming out here and going straight into this control valve. They actually had it routed coming up through that gap down there, which was super tight to do, and that's a sharp edge down in there, which I didn't really think was a great idea. So that's why I changed that, and that's actually a pressure hose. I think they do spec a different type of lower pressure hose for that maybe is more flexible. Maybe that's why they are able to do that. But yeah, that's a 2000 psi hose, 3/4 inch, I think, with a massive fitting on the bottom there. Like I said, the pump itself, again, I apologize if I'm making you sick with all of the movement here. I forget the model of the pump, but you can see that this pump looks almost exactly the same as on the tractor you have, except the body is bigger than what you have. So that accounts for the extra output. I think, like I said, I think this is a seven-ish gallons per minute, 7 point something. And that's what you would need to run it, run the loader at any respectable speed. The this exact design is still available to my knowledge. Webster Pumps still does exist. I think I want to say it's a 57 YB or YB 57. And you would get them through a company called QCC Corp. QCCcorp.com, I think, is their website. They're out of Chicago area. They're not cheap. Nothing that QCC offers is inexpensive. So all the controllers were, and I think the one for the rear on yours is a Dukes controller. This is a Dukes up here. I think that says Dukes. Yeah, it says Dukes. Dukes right there. You don't really see them come up very often used. Again, you can get Dukes is also a division of QCC Corp. I looked into a two spool. I think basically a duplicate of this, because I'm looking to change that to a two spool and then add a second hydraulic cylinder like this to be able to control the rear separately, kind of like what we discussed. From Dukes, it's a $700, almost $800 control valve. Prince Hydraulics has something similar, but they will only put the float portion like this on the first spool. They won't do it on the second spool. So that's kind of what, and that's what I want, and that's how this is. Sorry, my battery's about to go. So yeah, this is on the second spool. Prince won't do that. Dukes will, but like I said, you're gonna have to spend $700, close to it, to get that configuration. The fill ports on the top of the bracket arms are up here, and this is just, if I remember right, just 3/8 threaded National Pipe thread. So it, and then these are just breather plugs to account for any of the heat and whatnot when the fluid gets hot. These are not the original pins. You can see they're too big, but I made it quick release. These are all flush type quick releases. These are expensive. I got about $200 worth of quick releases here, but I've got kids. I got a dog that isn't the brightest, so I was worried about fluid dripping when I disconnected these things, and so far I've loved these, but they are pricey and they are much larger diameter than the other type quick release that you can get. Try to pan back here a little bit. So yeah, I think I said what the total width was. I'll see if I can get you a measurement down here. Sorry, let me set the phone down for a second. Well, this is gravity's not working with me here. Okay, the total bracket width is about 32 inches. So 32 inches back here. I think, what did I say? The bucket was, yeah, the bucket was 36, and the frame overall is 31 and a half. And then this cross member here is the same as these arms. What did I say? 2 by 5 for the arms, and then you could make the gusset reinforcement plate there as big as you wanted. The pins are all 3/4. Yeah, these are all 3/4 pins. So everything's fixed with the same diameter pin. And then just 2000 PSI hose is all I have on this. I had a couple custom made. Otherwise, I used Surplus Center, surpluscenter.com, and you go into their hydraulics section. I got all of these hoses here, these fittings. One of these hoses I think was a custom. The two Parker hoses are custom. Everything else came from Surplus Center, and or I reused what was already existing. So some of these 90 degree fittings were part of this whole arrangement, and I just reused them. But some of these other things, adapters going from one to the other, all came from Surplus Center. Same thing with the this hydraulic, the filter housing and the filter all came from them. They've got good prices, and they